What's going on, Salt Strong Nation? We're back out here doing some jetty and surf fishing today, and I received a couple questions on my last video about some of the terminal tackle that I was using, specifically the hooks. So I wanted to make a quick tip on the 3 types of hooks that you should have if you're doing any kind of jetty or surf fishing. These are really the only hooks that you're going to need. They're all 3 different styles, and I used each for a different scenario, but I'm going to go ahead and dive into how I use each of them today. Now, to start off, this is a hook that a lot of people don't know about. This is a Kale hook, and this is the brand that I like when I pick up some Kale hooks, these Eagle Claw, the Laser Sharp. And these are fantastic when you're fishing for whiting, croaker, any kind of small species that you're probably going to end up keeping. These aren't great catch and release hooks, but they do really well with small baits, specifically sand fleas, or if you're using fish bites. You can see that that barb and that shank of that hook is not too tall, so you can situate some bait right there on that shank really well, and those fish really don't have a hard time getting it in their mouths, especially if they're one of those really small species like pompano or whiting. But you still can catch trout and redfish on these hooks as well. Just know that they're not great for catch and release. So if you're targeting some bigger redfish or speckled trout that you're planning on releasing, I wouldn't really recommend using these hooks, but they're probably the cheapest of all 3 as well, and you can find them in most bait and tackle shops. And again, I do like these Eagle Claw Laser Sharps if you're not sure which brand to get, and I usually only pick up a 1/0 or a 2/0 for the baits that I'm going to be using, which is again usually going to be fish bites, small sand fleas, or pieces of shrimp. Now, after the Kale hook, I do recommend you guys also have some Inline octopus hooks in your box. These are great because they have a good balance between the hookup ratio of a Kale hook and the ability to do some catch and release like a circle hook, while having a little bit better of a hookup ratio, I find, than the circle hooks. But if you know you're going to be getting into some slot fish, some fish that you're going to be keeping, you can use these. But they also do have the possibility of catching larger fish if you do bump up the size, and you can usually get a really good release ratio on those. You don't find a lot of fish will swallow these too easily. And again, make sure you get the inline circle. There are offset octopus hooks. There's a ton of different kinds, but the ones that are inline, again, that means that the hook point is in line with the shank here, as you guys can see, in line with the shank. That's really important. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit harder to release some of those bigger fish. So I recommend you pick up some of those inline octopus circles. And lastly, you've got the full circle hook. My favorite are the Owner Mutu lights. This just happens to be the tournament approved one, but these are actually my favorite for jetty fishing when I'm going after really large bull redfish. They're super sharp and they have a great shank on them. Again, as you can see, that hook point is in line with the shank. Makes for a really great catch and release. I will say that they don't have as good of a hookup ratio as the octopus circle hook. There will be a couple fish that you miss, and that just happens with circle hooks, but you're going to be a lot better off if you're trying to release those fish. And again, when I'm using larger baits, again, the 4 and 5/0 series of these hooks are my choice when I'm throwing out larger mullet, larger menhaden, things like that. And I want to be able to release those larger fish because again, they're not legal to keep, and I want to make sure that they swim off and make more babies. But these are my top 3 choices for types of hooks. I recommend that you guys pick all 3 of these up. You can pretty much cover any scenario that you guys are going to find on the jetty or in the surf with these types of hooks. And if you do want to pick the inline octopus hooks up or the Owner Mutus, you can get them at fishstrong.com at 20% off. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tip, and if you want to see more awesome tips for jetty fishing or surf fishing, I highly recommend you join us at fishstrong.com.
And if you're new to Salt Strong, just know that we're the best online fishing club in America, because we literally guarantee we're going to help you catch more fish while saving time and money on your tackle. We do this by providing you with premium education, a private insider community with thousands of reports published daily, and discounts on the best saltwater fishing tackle in the industry right now. So we're looking forward to seeing you join us in the Salt Strong Insider Club soon, and thanks again for watching.